Welcome to the Business Finance Bulletin, episode 216. Welcome again to the latest Business Finance Bulletin. With me, Rob Warlow from Business Loan Services, the commercial finance experts. In this bulletin, the changing face of banking, Cambridge and Counties Bank accesses £100 million from the British Business Bank, and Lloyds Bank Fund for Hinkley Point supply chain. I'm sure I don't have to remind you that we are living in a period of fast change. When are we not? But banking and finance is not immune to that change. And a new report has come out entitled The Way We Bank Now, which is looking at, as the title suggests, how we're interacting with banks at the moment. Now, this report and survey has been carried out by UK Finance, which is the umbrella organisation for UK banks, in conjunction with EY, the accountancy firm. And one big thing to come out of this report is really acknowledging the rise in mobile banking and internet banking. The report estimates that in 2017 there were 5.5 billion logins via mobile banking apps, and that was an increase of 13% on 2016. When it comes to web chats, they also estimate there were 5.5 million web chats in 2017, an increase of 24% on the previous year. So how is this changing looking? Well, of course, we've got, first of all, closures of banks. I mean, barely a week or a month goes by without another bank announcing yet more branch closures. People are really beginning to shift online. Also, your checks are becoming rare. I don't know about you, but whenever anybody pays us by check, it's like, oh, crikey, here we are, have to go into the local town in order to bank the check. Well, check imaging is now starting to come out, where you can take a photograph of the check and bank it that way. The rise in contactless payment is also another revolution in banking. And of course, we've got open banking, which is really starting to come out. Open banking is, as the title suggests, making banking open. So a lot of third-party providers will be able to link directly into your bank account, verify your income and expenditure, and as these apps develop, you'll have a lot more control over where you can go and ask for loans and insurance. There's going to be a real seismic shift in the way that banking is carried out. Looking at a wider issue, Nationwide is now coming into the business banking market. It's announced that it wants to be another competitor to the big four banks, and they're applying for a £50 million allocation from a fund that RBS has been forced to put together, totaling £775 million to stimulate competition in the banking sector. So NatWest have said they want a slice of that fund in order to launch into the business banking market. And quite a brave move, I guess, particularly with the rise of the banking apps such as Starling and Revolut and Tandem, all of these making mobile banking very accessible and so much easier perhaps than dealing with a normal high street bank. So times, they really are changing. So make sure you keep up to date with what's going on out there to make sure that your business is as streamlined and efficient as it can be when it comes to managing finance. In my previous bulletin, episode 215, I mentioned that the previous evening I'd been the guest of Cambridge and Counties Bank, where they brought together a number of commercial finance brokers from across the UK to review their 2017 performance and their plans for 2018. Well, I have more news on Cambridge and Counties this week, with the announcement from the British Business Bank that it has lent £100 million to Cambridge and Counties for on-lending to small businesses. Now, the British Business Bank is the umbrella organisation and home of all of the UK government's finance schemes, and this £100 million has come out of the British Business Bank's Enable programme. Now, that programme or fund is designed to help smaller challenger banks really have the funds to be able to on-lend to growing small businesses. Now, Cambridge and Counties is very strong in the property sector with commercial mortgages, so a really good place to go to if you're looking to purchase premises. So if you want to make sure that you can access some of that money and you have a great plan, pop along to the Cambridge and Counties website, which is ccbank.co.uk, or alternatively drop us a line, info@businessloanservices.co.uk, and we'll happily chat through your plans. As well as a repeat mention for Cambridge and Counties Bank, this week I've got another repeat mention for Lloyds Bank. Now, in the previous bulletin, I mentioned that Lloyds had created a new fund focusing on green and sustainable projects and businesses. Well, Lloyds are back in the news again with the announcement of the creation of a £100 million fund designed to support businesses either directly or indirectly involved in the construction of the new nuclear plant at Hinkley Point in Somerset. Now, they said there could be many direct contractors, people who are involved involved in directly building that plant, but there also can be a lot of indirect contractors who are in this supply chain. They could be catering companies, hotels, transport, facilities management, security. All of these will benefit from the money being pumped into that region and yet may need finance. And this is why Lloyds Bank have put this £100 million aside, saying if you are one of these indirect or direct contractors, we've got some money set aside specifically for you. So it's really good news. So if you are a business based in the Somerset area and you want to know a little bit more about that, give your Lloyds Bank a call and they can tell you how you can access that fund. Well, that's it for another bulletin. As ever, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please don't forget to give it a like and a share. So that's it. I look forward to being with you next time. And in the meantime, have a great, successful and profitable week.